Simon asked me whether I thought he should do a parasite cleanse. I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I asked him, "Why are you asking? Are you simply looking for a product recommendation? Or are you trying to decide whether it's the right opportunity for you?" I told him I'd done parasite cleanses years ago, but if you asked me today, I'd probably approach it differently. Naturally, he asked why. I said, "Whenever something captures my attention now, I don't just ask, should I do this? I also ask, why does this subject have my attention today? Because the answer tells me far more than the product ever will. Everything in the outer world gives me an opportunity to understand something happening in my inner world. So let's look at parasites. Not biologically, psychologically. A parasite is something that survives by feeding from another living system. It takes nourishment without giving life back. That made me curious. If life mirrors our inner world, what would parasitic behavior look like inside us? Here's one example. Imagine I genuinely compliment you. I tell you how capable you are, how talented you are, how much I appreciate you. That compliment is nourishment. It's emotional nutrition. Now imagine you immediately say, "No, I'm not really that good," or "I was just lucky," or "Anyone could have done it." Notice what happened. The nourishment arrived, and you consumed it before it could feed you. You argued against your own nutrition. That behavior fascinated me, because we often do exactly that. We destroy encouragement, reject appreciation, dismiss opportunities, talk ourselves out of joy. Then we wonder why we feel depleted. Whether or not someone chooses a physical cleanse isn't really the point. The bigger question is, where am I feeding on myself instead of feeding myself? Where am I destroying what nourishes me? That's a far more interesting cleanse. I then shared another experience. Many years ago, I became interested in colon cleansing. I wasn't physically ill. I had plenty of energy. I was successful in my career. From the outside, everything looked fine. But inside, I constantly described my life with one word: grey. Everything felt grey. That phrase becomes important because during my 5th colonic, the practitioner suddenly stopped. She looked at me and said, "Anne-Marie, I've never seen anything like this. Everything coming out is completely grey." I laughed because I'd been describing my emotional life exactly the same way for years. Grey. It was as though my body was reflecting the language I'd been living inside. Whether you see that literally, symbolically, or somewhere in between, the timing was extraordinary. Something in me immediately understood. It's time to let go of the grey. Not just physically, it's emotional too. 3 weeks later, I attended a transformational healing weekend. A man stood up to introduce himself. The moment I saw him, I heard a sentence inside me say, "You're going to marry this man." It made absolutely no sense. He then told the group he was happily married, so I ignored it. 2 weeks later, his wife returned from attending the same workshop in London and stunned him by asking for a divorce. 4 years later, I married him. We've now been together for 25 happy years, and I've often said that the day I met him, I began to see colour. Here's the takeaway. Follow what resonates. Trust what quietly captures your attention. But don't stop there. Become curious about what it represents. Listen carefully to the language you use every day, because your words often reveal the emotional environment you've been living inside. Your body isn't trying to punish you. It's trying to communicate. Maybe the outer experience isn't there to frighten you, but to help you see yourself more clearly. So I recommended to Simon that he do the cleanse if it's speaking to him. But in order to maintain a healthier relationship with himself going forward, pay attention to the ways he steals his own nutrition and feeds off himself in unkind, ill-nourished ways. Where is he becoming a harmful parasite to his own magnificence? Little did I know that I was turning my grey dialogue into literal grey matter. I didn't know what I was doing back then. But now I know. I have evidence that when you begin changing the way you nourish yourself, life shifts with you.